in the circles I'm in online, I see a lot of disabled folks advocating for identity first language. And yet, when I'm in trainings at work, our non disabled trainers keep pushing person first language. Is it my place as an able bodied person who wants to be an ally to correct those trainers? Or is it still generally the preferred norm in government spaces to lead with person first language?
This is a good one. I get this one a lot for language. So person first versus identity first. So let me give you an example. A blind woman walked across the street, or a woman who appeared to be blind. So a blind woman is identity first, or a woman who appeared to be blind or is blind. That is person first. The woman becomes before the identity, which is blind. And so when we're talking about this, this has switched. It has definitely changed over the last probably 5 years. Is the disability community not wanting to sugarcoat this or hide it or be ashamed of our identity. And so with that came this huge confusion between person first and identity first. It is still acceptable to use person first language, but you might find that somebody corrects you and says, I'm disabled. You don't have to sugarcoat it. What I have seen in a lot of documents, especially in the written form, is people using both. So they'll, in one sentence, they'll say the woman that was blind walked across the street. And then the next sentence, they'll say the blind woman walked across the street, or the disabled woman. So they switch back and forth so that people know that they're aware that some people want to identify as one way and some people want to identify another way. Now, all of you writers out there, the inconsistency in that structure might not be what you want to see in your writing, but it does show that you are aware of both sides. A lot of us, I won't even say a lot. Many of us could go either way. I am still so trained to be person first because of the era I grew up in. I use person first automatically, and so I switch back and forth. As the younger generation who is having this movement, pushing this movement forward, they are more identity first, and that's fine. Either way, neither are offensive. That's what you need to know. Neither way of speaking, person first or identity first, is offensive at this point. That may shift here in the US, as much of our language does. As a person in the class, you can speak up and be an ally and say, hey, as far as I know, we're using disability or identity first language. And so I just wanted to let you know, but you don't have to call them out or be rude about it. Or pull them aside on a break or something. That's totally acceptable. So thank you so much for the question.